Hi everybody, welcome to Flight Past and to our recon today, where we will be trying to work out the route that the 9th Troop Carrier Command would have taken to fly their C-47 Dakotas containing the 101st Airborne from Devon in England to the Cotentin Peninsula in France. So we're going to be going from this area around here, and we're going to be getting to the drop zones, which were in this region here. So we've got the Douglas ready to go, and we're going to follow Easy Company's route into the drop zone on the 5th of June 1944. So we're going to go to Upottery first of all, RAF Upottery. Now, it's not a active airfield anymore, so we'll just start off in the air and we'll get going. It's to the north of Honiton. I think it's this place here. Yeah, this is the place. So we're going to start here. This will be our departure. And our objective is the drop zone. I believe it was drop zone Delta. The US 101st Airborne had drop zones. I believe it was Alpha or A, B, and D, and they were straddling basically this region, this road here, all the way down, and I believe the 101st drop zone was in this region around here to the north and northwest of Sainte-Mère-Église. What we're going to do is we're going to actually follow Lieutenant Dick Winters, Lieutenant at the time, Dick Winters, and he actually lands here, and we're going to try and work out what went wrong if his plane was supposed to be coming here and it ends up about 8 kilometers north of where he was intended. So we're going to eventually we're going to end up here at Sainte-Mère-Église. So let's put that as our arrival. Now this line here is not going to be what they did, and we discussed this before when it came to Operation Tonga, that when you've got these thousands of aircraft literally flying down, you don't want to make the navigation difficult. Yes, some planes had Rebecca receivers on them, but others didn't. So what we know is from Dick Winters' account was that he flew between Guernsey and Jersey at around about 1 o'clock in the morning. And from other accounts, we know that the 81st Airborne came in on the north of Guernsey, I believe. So they obviously had their designated lanes to fly in on and to return. And what makes a lot of sense is that you keep the compass simple, especially when you're going over the sea. So it would be interesting if there was somewhere like a familiar landmark, such as here, that the aircraft could vector in on, because remember, they're not. Upottery was one of the furthest airfields to the west. The other airfields were in this area here: Aldermaston, Greenham Common, and Merrifield. So it would make sense that they would probably come down to maybe Portland Bill, and then from there take a direct route south. That is a good compass bearing to follow. And from that compass bearing, you've then got a lot of features of the Channel Islands that you can spot. You could then probably use Sark as a reference. You could then use the coast of Jersey as a reference, if you carried it down to here, and then from there you would then follow the coastline, maybe even take a bearing, and you're looking for something that is a clear feature. Now we know the 101st were coming in from the south here. Presumably they might even take a reference on one of these places here, one of these inlets. But say that we're going to end up in Sainte-Mère-Église, we'll probably say that there's a likelihood that this place here, it came across here. And we could discuss this later. So let's put this here, and then I would have thought, you see, they would have headed this way or gone directly east, and then taken a bearing. But for some reason, they end up, their plane ended up here at Sainte-Mère-Église and not down here at Saint-Côme-de-Mont. Let's fly this route for now, and then we can discuss that later. But that seems, especially the first part, seems fair. Okay, let's jump into the stream. So this is RAF Upottery, and we were discussing this earlier in an earlier Recon 9. If you want, we've got some new stuff on the YouTube. Now let's get this autopilot set up now. I think we'll start. How about there? we want to be going down. Oh, I can never wear these damn things. There we go. At last. Right, okay, we should be on our way. So, Easy Company receives... we're locked into RAF Upottery, and this is the 5th of June. At around about 8:30, the jump master has all the guys on the ground about to load into the plane, and this is when they hand out the 2 sets of papers handed to the people as they're getting into the plane, which contains the orders of the day from Eisenhower and Colonel Sink. We know that the planes around about 10 o'clock, the men are starting to be loaded onto the planes. They're carrying anything from 100 to 150 pounds worth of equipment. And about half an hour before the these guys take off, they the Pathfinders set off ahead of them, and they're going to be marking the drop zones for these guys when they get there. At around 23:10, the C-47s begin rolling down the runway at RAF Upottery back there, and they start to circle and then form up into V formations. Each section or squad of planes, the lead aircraft would have a Rebecca signal on it, a receiver, and this is to pick up the Eureka signals that the Pathfinders are going to place on the drop zones. So we are flying along, so it makes kind of sense that what I'm trying to say about this route is that it's never quite clear which planes take what route. But remember, this is this will be at night. I'm going to leave it daylight for now. We can do the last bit in daylight. the cloud cover was actually broken, and the base of the cloud was around 2,000 feet, and the height of the cloud was anything from 4,000 to 6,000, 7,000 feet high. So when you're flying in these V formations, you've got to be within visual distance of your leader. But it makes sense that when you look at these cockpits of this aircraft, this is the sort of instruments you have, and it makes it very difficult to fly really accurately. Obviously, that they were good enough, but you got to remember these pilots were not necessarily the best in the US Air Force. They were usually the best pilots were in the bomber squadrons or the fighter squadrons. These guys were kind of a bit like truck drivers, really. They got compared to. Bit unkind, but you get the drift. So trying to navigate across open ocean to a target, a specific target, at night is very difficult. And so it makes sense if you could use any distinguishing features that you as much as possible, such as what's coming up here, which is Portland Bill near Weymouth. And that Portland Bill then provides the opportunity to then take a direct south course. Now, I'm not saying that this is what happened, it's just a discussion. So if you do know different, then please let me know. But this is just what makes sense from what I can see. It also makes sense that somewhere possibly on the Channel Islands, which is UK, British territory that was occupied by Germans, there will probably be resistance people who could help with signalling, even if it was visual or radio. There might even be a submarine base down here. Something that would give these pilots an actual RDF signal to hone in on. So we're coming up now on Weymouth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have a quick little break here, and then when we come back we'll be on the southern leg and across the ocean, and we can talk about a little bit more about the aircraft and the route.